Well, happy Wednesday, Crossroads. My name is Kurt. I'm the new guy around here, and we're going to take a little bit of a break. Now, the last several weeks for the month of June and July, we've been using our bi-weekly videos here in our Devo time for some of our favorite Psalms. And you've heard from the various pastors on staff some of their favorite Psalms, but for the rest of this month, on Wednesdays, I'm going to get to share with you a little bit from my heart. Now, I'm going to take a break from the Psalms and just kind of let you get to know me just a little bit better. But as I do that, ironically, I'm going to start today with a psalm. One of my favorite passages in the Bible is out of the book of Psalms, and it's one that our other pastors here didn't bother to jump on. It's probably one that you don't automatically think of. Like maybe it's not one that you've really even heard of in the Bible, but it goes like this, Psalm chapter 19, verse 14. David writes, "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer." Now, a little bit of a disclaimer on this verse. I heard this verse for the first time, other than just, kind of casually reading the Psalms. The first time this verse really sunk into my heart was when I was in college. I went to the University of Oklahoma and was part of our campus ministry there with the church that I went to. And we had a praise team. And one of the very first weeks I was there, they sang this song I'd never heard of before, and I've never heard anybody else sing it since. But the song used Psalm 19:14 as its main verse. "May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your eyes," was how the song went. And then it got into the chorus, and the chorus went like this: "Let my praise be the fruit of lips that confess your holiness, your righteousness. Let the whole earth rejoice and lift up her voice to the melody of your name with the fruit of lips that praise." Now I think about that particular verse. You can tell if you're familiar with Crossroads where I'm sitting right now. It's the place I was standing just a couple of Sundays ago, and a place where I'll stand on some Sundays moving forward here on the stage in our gathering place here at Crossroads. And for a lot of you, unless I get the chance to have lunch with you or a coffee with you, or as a family, as you hang out with my family, this may be the place that many of you get to know me. Now, I hope we get those other opportunities as well too, but on the stage is where I share my heart with you through sermon. And just so you're curious, and in case you're curious, so you know, when I preach, I have a few ideas in mind every time that I preach, a few goals that I want to hit every single sermon. Number one is that I want to preach a sermon that is so simple that if somebody's here for the very first time, they've never heard about Jesus, they come to church looking for something, I preach in a way that's so simple that person can understand it. But on the flip side of that, I also want somebody who's been coming to church for decades, longer than I've even been alive. I want them to also get something out of it so they can grow to know more about Jesus. So I want some depth in my sermons as well too. I try to do both, some simplicity and some depth. But more than any of that, I want to preach a sermon that glorifies God. Like my goal isn't to impress people with my words. My goal isn't to make you walk away saying, "Man, that was a great sermon," or "That was just a so-so sermon." My goal is for you to learn about Jesus because I have worshiped him through my teaching. And I think about this because every single time I come on stage, now whether it was my old church, it was usually in a music closet off to the side of the sanctuary there. Here at Crossroads, it's in our green room, which is back here behind me to my right. I do a couple of things. Now, don't judge me here. Just before I come on the stage, I like to stretch and kind of jump a little bit. This will sound really dorky. I know you're going to picture me doing this now. I jump up and down a little bit. I've got to get my blood pumping. And I want to stretch and limber and loosen up. I mean, I'm not going to get out here and run sprints for you when I preach, but I want that to be my blood pumping, my energy up so that I can come out on stage and be ready to teach. But the last thing I do after I've done my calisthenics, okay, my warm-up, is I pause. And I say a quick prayer every time. And it's usually something like this: "God, let me get out of your way. Let your words come through me. Let my words be your words, because I want people to see you in what I say." My goal as I preach is to worship. See, that's kind of what David, I think, was talking about here in this passage. David, as he mentions that the words of his mouth and the meditations of his heart should be pleasing to God, he knows something very simple here. David knows as a king, as a master, nothing his servants can give him is truly worthy to be given to him because everything that they could give him is his to begin with. Like, he knows that. It's kind of like as a parent, if your kid gives you a gift that they made, I mean, you gave them the paper and the crayons to draw that picture to begin with, right? So it's not like they are original in what they're able to give you. It's something that you have gifted them with in the first place. And that's how David approaches God. There's nothing I can give you, Lord, that's truly worthy for me to give you. So please accept the sincerest worship and praise from my heart. That's my goal when I preach to you. And that's my goal in everything that I do. I'm not perfect at it. I struggle at it. I have some days where I'm better at it than others. But that's my goal in everything I say and do, is that it would be worship to God, it would be acceptable to God, and it would be pleasing to His eyes and to His ears. And that's my prayer for you as well.